After 3 years of being a mother and feeling sorry for myself because there is no village, I got tired of it. So I started becoming my own village. This is not about waiting to be rescued, because when you become a parent, you become an adult, and there is no one coming to rescue in this. This is not about blaming society for not supporting mothers. This is about choosing to rise inside the life that we already chose. I don't want to romanticize burnout or glorify suffering. I'm tired of seeing women complain. There is a lot of complaint about being a mother and how hard it is. And it is hard. I mean, I know it. But this is the new rebellion. It's not rage. It's not collapse. It's clarity, vitality, and sacred responsibility. I'm Anna. This is the value signal, where women get to choose themselves as the most radical act of motherhood. I am a medical doctor, a thinker, a lifelong student of transformation, and if you're a mother ready to rebel and rise from within your own life, you're welcome here. What I think most people don't realize is that we're not going through a support crisis as most women see it, but it's a crisis of meaning. We are not collapsing just because there is no village. We are collapsing because we are trying to do it all while still believing that only paid work counts and only one frame of success actually brings us worthiness. The system told us unless we earn or perform, we have no purpose. And so we are here raising humans and we say it's just parenting, or I'm only a stay-at-home mom, maybe, or I only work part-time, and it's only this only. We are always diminishing what we're doing, because actually we are using our time to do one of the greatest things we could ever do. So this is not about the task of motherhood needing to be recognized, because we need to learn to recognize it for ourselves. This is about the role being sacred, whether or not the world applauds. Because the need for applause is usually what's bringing us down. So motherhood is not a death sentence. It's not the end of you. It's the beginning of your real adulthood. And becoming an adult, which I actually do believe you can only do when you become a parent. I'm sorry if people think otherwise, but this is my opinion. And I became a mother quite late, so I can say I felt like an adult before, but there's nothing like this responsibility now. And this is where adulthood really begins. And it's a painful transition. It is. No kid needs a dead mother. They need a living example of strength and sovereignty. Many women say, oh, I would die for my kids, but what child needs that? No one needs that. People need a living mother. They don't need a dead mother. So the question is, will you live for them? Will you live for your children? Will you show them what it means to pursue a dream, to rise in courage, to be an adult, to take your responsibilities? Will you do that instead of, oh, I would die for them? I believe motherhood is not just a support role. It's the role of a blueprint. Motherhood forges the version of you that is actually capable of holding your power. Like I said, I thought I was a grown-up until I became a mother. And that's when I actually really grew up. And I'm not going to romanticize it. I mean, motherhood is going to take everything you have to give. It's going to bring you to your knees. It does. It really does. These little humans, they are capable of making you meet your shadows and your darkness in ways that you never thought you would. And that's where the power comes, because when you manage to rise from within that, you become unbreakable. Recently, I had to think about the work of Steven Pressfield in The War of Art, where he talks about resistance, he talks about victimhood. And he says resistance feels like unhappiness, restlessness, boredom, guilt, shame. And this is something we live in our everyday life. And he also talks about victimhood. And this is where I see a lot of women and a lot of women on social media creating content online in this victim role that demands others to save us, you know, the partners, the kids, the government, they need to be saved. And I kind of think it's like, it comes to mind a scene from a cartoon called, I think it was Rocco's Modern Life. It was a cartoon from the 90s, and it was not that popular, so most people probably won't know it. If I find the scene, I'll put it here. You sit down, you have a channel on the TV, and you want to change the channel. And in the cartoon, he's actually gone to hell, and he sits there and he says, well, where's the remote? And the devil says, there is no remote. And this is what our life is like. We have a channel, there is no remote. You have to get up and change the channel yourself. So you have to stop waiting to be helped before you rise. You don't need a rescue. You need to stop tuning into the wrong channel. If you don't like the channel, you need to get up and you need to change it. And I'll go a little bit deeper in this concept of the channel, because this is also a quantum field insight. You see, you're probably not broken if you're feeling overwhelmed and you're tired and you're kind of resentful of your state. You're just broadcasting the wrong signal. So the thing is, in the quantum field, all identities exist at the same time. So somewhere you already are the mother, the creator, the nourished, joyful, glowing version of yourself. But right now, you're tuning into the tired one, the overwhelmed one, the one that says, I can't, the one that says it's too much, the one that doesn't find the strength. And one thing you can ask is, why am I continuing to tune into this version of myself that I no longer prefer? So victimhood closes doors and alignment opens them. And there is a lot of ways we can do this. One way is nurturing our bodies. This is something we forget as a mother. It's quite common actually for people to buy the best things for their child. They'll buy the best supplements, the best vitamins, the best clothes, the best everything for their children. And they will buy like the shabby ones for themselves. And this is an important point, not just from the perspective of what you're doing to yourself, but what are you teaching your children that they should do for themselves? Because if they see you treating yourself as someone who deserves less, then they are going to treat themselves as someone who deserves less. They don't learn by the way you treat them. They learn by the way you treat yourself. And vitality is not a luxury. It is a life strategy. You can't rebel if your body is starved, malnourished, or your mind is fried. I mean, nutrition helped me see clearly again. There will be more of this in a whole new episode about nutrition. But know this, you might not be misfiring because you're weak. You might be misfiring because you're misaligned and undernourished. I started building tools not because I had time, but because I had to, because I needed systems and tools to come out of this state of self-pity that I found myself in, where the fear of never feeling like myself again was so overwhelming that I had to do something about it. And the systems in the everyday life, the discipline, it's not about rigidity or perfection. It is a way to rebel without collapsing. It is a way to build something you can lean into in your everyday life. I have a background in Tibetan Buddhism, and it talks about Dharma. And Dharma is not just studying the Buddhist teachings. Dharma is what you do every day. So there is a dharma of motherhood. There is a dharma to doing the dishes. There is a dharma to everything if you do it in the right intention. Dharma means alignment with what is yours to do. Motherhood is not an obstacle to your path. It is the path. It is alignment. It is the dharma. When you choose to become a mother, the power in that is incredible. Creativity isn't cancelled. It's called into a deeper form. So this episode might sound a bit scattered. I'm doing it quite spontaneously, but it's not about escaping life. It's about inhabiting it fully. I don't rebel by escaping. I rebel by rising in love, in systems, in vitality, in clarity, and in the quiet refusal to abandon myself just because I became a mother. If what I said today, even if it's a bit raw, a bit scattered, if it spoke to you, stay with me, because this is the start of a new season of the Value Signal, and over the next weeks, we'll get more practical. We'll talk about the invisible resistance that makes you feel stuck even when you're trying your best. We'll talk about why exhaustion isn't laziness and what your body is really telling you. We'll talk about how to put simple rhythms in place so you don't feel like you're drowning every day. And we'll talk about how easy it is to slip into roles that drain you and what it looks like to step back into your own skin again. I'll also share real practices you can use in the middle of chaos, things that help me with nourishment, calming my nervous system, and even finding gratitude when it feels impossible. So this is the rebellion. I'm inviting you into it. No rage, no escape, but clarity in the life you already have. There are meditations coming out here in the channel for mothers. They are made so you don't have to step back and sit in a cushion quietly. You can do them in the middle of your life, the chaos, and you can access a more positive state through them. So if you're here for that, you're in the right place.